is, just know this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. As always, God is good, and He's good all the time. I gotta have this talk with y'all, family. I gotta have this talk with y'all. What the freak is going on? Like, what is going on in this world, right? So the reason why I ask is because there's so much going on, so much. And the thing is that people treat each other like garbage. Straight up treat each other like garbage. And then I don't it's like they still expect that same person that they treated like trash, you know, to treat them like gold. I mean, you never heard of that saying, treat people as you want to be treated. It's like, to me, it's I don't know, it's mind blowing. So I've been uh I've been dealing with some nonsense. I'm putting on my brace for the gym, but I've been dealing with some nonsense, over the course of some time, right? And the thing is that when people don't know you, people will try you. You know what I'm saying? People will try to treat you like you some kind of punk or whatever, and they expect you to just go with it, with however they process in their brain who you are to them. So, as a person who has became more active in, I guess, like the YouTube community, it's been getting on my nerves how much just the YouTube community, and I'm not just talking about the people that make content and they post their videos on, on the platforms. I'm talking about the people who sit here and watch the garbage too. Like, niggas out here are so mother freaking weird, and it's mind blowing. So like, I got into the basketball community, right? And I watch it. I'm always been an athlete, pretty athletic. Like, there's no sport that I can play. I'm those type of people. I don't just do one thing. Like, if I learn how to do it, trust and believe I'm gonna master it. Like, there ain't no ways about it. And so, because I'm athletic, and I grew up playing sports in general. Occasionally play sports in school, not too much, and I didn't do too much organized sports. But you know, I watch certain this content, and it's crazy. And it's not even just the YouTube community or the basketball YouTube community that does this, but it's mind blowing when I like add my opinion on something. Someone comes out of the woodworks and they make assumptions about me and they don't know me, right? So recently, someone was like, "Well, how can you, speak on the basketball YouTube community when you're not a hooper and you're not a part of it?" Bro, just because I'm not a mother freaking a YouTube channel with like hundreds of thousands subscribers, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe something as tiny as 10,000 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't have 10,000 subscribers doesn't mean I'm not a part of the community. And then it's like, what make you think that I'm less part of this community than the next person? It's crazy because like, and these people, they'll comment these things under the content I post, and they're pissy, and it all got to do with the same thing, because I'm the type of person that my content is not, it's not like everybody else. Like, I am a knowledge based person. I am all for spreading knowledge and awareness. See, me personally, I know so much information, right? Especially when it comes to stuff that affects us, our day-to-day regular lives. You know what I'm saying? So like, that could be politics, that could be some kind of social, injustice, mother freaking any, like, literally anything. And so my thought process is, okay, well, I make up these different spaces, right? I'm a part of these different spaces. I'm into fashion. I make my own clothes. Um I love conversing with people, especially about stuff that I know. So if it's pertaining to politics or something surrounding social justice, I'm gonna chime in. Sports, the same thing. I'm gonna chime in. But you got these weirdos who practice double standards, right? And a lot of the times I know that this is what it is. It's double standards, it's prejudice, and it's bigotry, right? Sometimes, depending on the person, it can be racism. But a lot of times it's bigotry and prejudice. That's just the root of it. And so these people will tell me as if, not just necessarily tell me, but they'll make these comments as if I can't add any input. And my thought process is, why do you feel that I can't add any input? Why me specifically? There's several other people out here doing the same thing that I do. They comment. There's even some people who comment similar comments as mine. For example, I've been attacked all types of ways. You know what I'm saying? I've been called a dyke by this dude named Logo Lock from 773, and amongst other people. And it's usually it's tailored to one individual, right? So it's this. So I call him a gallon of milk. It's this dude named Chris White, big old white dude, just big old white dude, right? And when he first came out, like, this dude, like, nobody really knew of him except you knew that he was kind of desperate for fame and attention. Because when I first saw this dude, like, he popped up on a Ball His Life run when I first started watching this, probably like almost a year ago. And then next thing I know, this dude is on Nick Brizz's team. Now, mind you, I do have the analysis coming forward. I have all the data accumulated. I've started, actually producing it, recording the video so that way I can edit it and post it up. The only thing is that it's so boring. It's so boring covering Chris White, And it's not even just covering Chris White, it's like covering these YouTube people. They're boring because, honestly, it's all a facade. Everybody talks about street ball this, street ball that, street ball this, street ball that. And none of these niggas are street ballers. Majority of these niggas are street ballers. And the ones that are street ballers, they're not in this space as a street baller, right? So you got literally weirdos, like random people like Kenny Child, Cash Nasty, just mad randoms coming in talking about, oh, I want in on this basketball, community because I played NBA 2K, or I hung out with niggas that. And it's weird, right? It's weird because you got people like Uncle Scoop, you got people like Bone Collector, that these big organizations like Ball Is Life use Bone Collector to get out there, to motherfreaking enter into the motherfreaking street ball community, but never put them on. And this is another thing that gets me, is that people don't like me because I speak the truth. That is why niggas have an issue with my content, because I'm not like the masses where people motherfreaking, they hop on bandwagons, they act like y'all biggest fans. I'm none of y'all fans. Not a soul. None of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I am I pray for you, you know what I'm saying? I don't wish bad upon you. I hope and pray that God takes care of you and you achieve all the things that you want to achieve in life. At the end of the day, I'm not your friend, and I don't thrive to be your friend. I don't want acceptance from you or none of the sort. And so when it comes to my content, this is how I always been. I'm always the type of person that if I'm going to say something, I'm going to be direct. If I have an opinion on something, I'm going to express it, especially when I believe that it's true. And so people don't like my content, especially these YouTubers. And it's not even just these YouTubers. It's people, come on, in the room. It's people out in the real world who don't like my content because I don't just post my content to ride waves and to hop on bandwagons and all this other weirdo jump that people do. When I post my content, you know what I'm saying? There is a message behind it. You know what I'm saying? There's some kind of context, that's being disseminated, And this is the thing, is that people get pissy because they do their dirt out here, but don't nobody want correction. People think they're above reproach. People think they're above correction, and you're not. You're absolutely not. But you got these weirdos out here who think there are. So, like, for example, I've always been the type if I see something wrong, I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Now, me personally, I was a supporter of Nick, not a fan, a supporter. In the sense that when I say Nick, I'm saying Nick Briss. I was a supporter in the sense that I watched his content pretty, you know, almost on a regular basis. And then I don't know, I started catching on to certain things, right? So, like, I started catching on to how Nick Briz will pull up to hoods and exploit these people for content, right? And they all do it. Baller's Life do it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have a motherfucking thorough breakdown of that Baller's Life Chris White analysis. The crazy thing about it is that it's not just pertaining to Baller's Life and Chris White, you know, and the hooligans follow the part. This analysis that I'm doing is in depth on the YouTube community because a lot of y'all niggas, y'all not black, you're not from the streets, you're not from the hood, and then y'all use hood synonymously with motherfucking black. You do know that hoods have motherfucking other groups living in it. Like when you think about it, ghettos. When the term ghetto came about, they didn't come up with this name to describe an area where black people live. This was an area that was used to describe poor white people. And then when the poor white people got all pissy because black people started gaining rights and segregation started to end, and then they were mixing into their schools, they like, hold on, we don't want these niggas in our motherfucking school systems. We don't want them living as our neighbors. They're gonna depreciate the, you know, the home value and all this other stuff. And so these niggas started flocking out to where? Motherfucking impoverished outside the city neighborhood areas. That includes motherfucking towns, villages, and rural areas. That's why a majority of this population is motherfucking poor. It's motherfucking poor. Right? And people overlook the fact that they associate ghettos, hoods, poverty, crime with black people. And that's not it. Motherfucking black people and crime is not a monolith. We're not synonymous to any of that stuff. And you're ignorant as a motherfucker if you think so. But here's the thing, is that these weak ass YouTube community people, you know what I'm saying, these YouTube basketball people, they go to these hoods, they go there to exploit motherfucking people that lives there. And the thing that gets me, right, is that a lot of these niggas, they don't even give any recognition to the people that they play. Like, you come to their neighborhood, right? And you want them for content because, like Nick Briz, his whole aspect of his content revolves around violence and the grittiness of how it is to be in an area that is not wealthy, is not affluent. They lack lots of resources. I mean, majority of the people in this neighborhood bet money they ain't got no health insurance, they ain't got no dental insurance, they ain't got no life insurance. So if niggas die, they out here creating GoFundMe's and all this wild junk because they can't afford to bury their people. Hell, they can't even afford to cremate them. Cremation is expensive, right? But you got these niggas that go to these different neighborhoods to get content, and you gotta remember, like one of these Nick Brizz's videos I remember seeing a while back, this older gentleman, right? Freaking Abraham. They call him Abraham. I think his name is Imam, but they call him Abraham, right? So this nigga, he's getting all hyped because he's used to YouTube. These are suburban niggas. You know what I'm saying? They had their whole life handed to them. They got white skin, so they benefit from, you know, passing as white and utilizing white privilege. You know what I'm saying? Mommy, daddy got some money. So they got some resources, right? These niggas, like Iman, like Abe, you know, while they in the hood, this nigga gets up all up in this dude's face. Mind you, this dude was drinking literally like a motherfucking 40 ounce, right? Now, the stereotype that is associated with 40 ounce, you don't mess with motherfucking niggas that's out here drinking 40s. Because 9 times out of 10, they drinking some old cheap, like malt beer type of, you know what I'm saying? And these people, they rough. They come from, you know, poverty. Not only that, probably some incarceration. You know what I'm saying? But he got all up in the dude's face, acting a hot motherfucking mess, getting all wild and yeah, rolling up all in dude's face because why? That's what these niggas do on YouTube. They see it all the time. You got niggas like Markel from MGM faking content. It's on Freaka's motherfucking video with him, where he literally is like, oh, you know, let's fake this thumbnail so people could think we were fighting. And Freaka's like, nah, bro. And he's like, oh, trying to convince him to do it. And then he goes and say, well, MK does it. Niggas really out here faking content for views, for followers, subscribers. They're faking lifestyles. I mean, look at motherfucking Chris White. If gender dysphoria exists, so does racial dysphoria. Because this white dude is, he acts like he thinks that he's really black. And the sad part about it, well, it's not even sad. What makes me angry about it is that he's exploiting black culture. And I'm tired of arguing with niggas that ain't black. Because there's always somebody that ain't black that wants to justify these non-black niggas appropriating black culture. Then they want to call me a gatekeeper. I ain't a gatekeeper. Y'all niggas need to know what cultural appropriation is. There's a difference between motherfreaking appreciate someone's culture, you know what I'm saying, and motherfreaking exploiting it. Chris White exploits it. Look at this nigga history. Look at his history. When he first appeared on Baller's Life, he literally looks exactly like how he say MK look like. Some NSYNC Backstreet Boy type of white boy. Literally. I know Chris White type. Why? Because I got kinfolk just like him. My mother is biracial. My mother has a white mama. And I know my motherfucking white family. And they're what we consider white trash. Just like motherfucking Chris White. It's them motherfucking ran down dirty A white boys. Just straight dirty, uneducated motherfucking. When you look at them, you just like, bro, I know why I'm not succeeding in life. It's the skin color. But what's your excuse? Like, these are these types. Why are you struggling so bad? But here's the thing. People overlook the fact that he exploits culture. When you look at how he looked when he first came out, the nigga looked like a straight up white boy. Even when you look at his old music videos, his old music content, white boy, straight up white boy. He looked, that's why he can't stand MK, because he's just like MK. He's just older. But nigga was out here looking like a straight up white boy. Straight up white boy. Right? And then all of a sudden you start to see the transition on Nick Brizz's motherfreaking content where Chris White start wearing these plaits. He starts putting motherfreaking weave in his hair. And this nigga starts wearing extensions. And them Jones look ridiculous and motherfreaker. But you can kind of tell, like, over time, this nigga just started embracing black culture even more. Even more. And what was it for? Because think about it. When he was with Nick Briz looking like regular white, some, you know, your regular Tom, Dick, and Harry, you know what I'm saying? When that nigga was making his content, his music videos, at the end of the day, nobody's gonna support no white boy rapper, no white chick rapper, unless they look like what? A motherfucking black person. They gotta imitate black culture to get on. I mean, look at Iggy Azalea. Literally, Chris White is the male version of Iggy Azalea. Literally. And it's crazy because people will sit here and, like I said, it's always these non-black people. Why? Because these are the people that want to be. We don't need you gatekeeping stuff. No. That's not how this works. That's not how that works. I'm not gonna have some cracker telling me how to conduct myself. It's just not about to happen. It's not about to happen, especially when it comes to a culture that I am a part of. See, the difference is Chris White can take those stupid braids out his hair, you know what I'm saying, and put on his regular Tom, Dick, and Harry hairstyle. This nigga could, I mean, I don't think his clothing, you know, I don't think the nigga got swag when it comes to fashion at all. However, I know that that's his form of an imitation, right? So if this nigga started dressing like your regular motherfreaking hick motherfreaking Bill Liver, you know what I'm saying? Some motherfreaking I don't even know what the name for the redneck. There we go. If he was to embrace his redneck, and this nigga starts wearing mother freaking hunting jacket, hunter jackets, and start walking around with some dirty old boots and the whole nine, this nigga will blend in spaces that he probably wasn't really allowed to get into, looking like a wigger. I know these types because I served in the military with them. I got them in my family. I got white people in my family. You couldn't tell these niggas that they were white because they would sit here and be like, nah, I'm black. What you mean? I grew up in the ghetto. I listen to I listen to Luther Vandross. I listen to rap. I do this, and it's just like, I listen to classical music too, and I also go out of my way to work on my credit score. Yet I still do not have the credit assets that motherfucking white people have. So there's that. But you got these niggas. I'm telling you, these niggas can just embrace their full-blown whiteness. Embrace their full-blown whiteness. And what happened? The niggas will be accepted into it. But me, I can't take off my blackness. This junk follows me everywhere I motherfucking go. See, this is the thing that I hate about these white people and these non-black niggas that want to appropriate black culture. You can take off your costume. I can't take off my skin color. I cannot take this hair texture off. I cannot get rid of these features, these Afrocentric features, because niggas want to argue, share the culture. It's culture. This is America. It's a bunch of people in here. It's a melting pot of cultures and blah, 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 titty suck, titty suck. I don't give a dang about none of that garbage. I don't give a dang about none of that garbage, because look at the history of the United States and how it became a melting motherfucking pot. They pulled Africans from Africa, brought them here, and put them into slavery for hundreds of years. While we motherfucking, my ancestors built the wealth that these white folks carry out here. Then when you look at the annihilation and the motherfucking massacre that occurred with motherfucking Native Americans, just so white people can colonize this raggedy motherfucking country. And the crazy part about it is that the oppressors were oppressed at one point. Because it's mind-blowing how you got a bunch of England runaways that comes to motherfucking the US, and they're like, we want a different lifestyle from what we've been having over there because we're being mistreated. No taxation without representation. Yet, you got 14 to 17-year-olds working a job, getting their taxes, getting their checks taxed, and yet they lack representation. There's no 14 to 17-year-olds in politics. A 14 to 17-year-old, even though the homelessness and the poverty for children is high, that junk is galore. 14 to 17-year-olds can't come out here and motherfucking open up their own bank account. They can't motherfucking rent an apartment. Even though 9 times out of 10, they're homeless. They ain't got no motherfucking parent or legal guardian. They raising themselves. My parents was those type of people where they were in and out of foster homes. They were ripped from their parents, because that's another thing. That's another thing. When it comes to motherfucking data, as a black individuals are more likely, black children are more likely to be ripped from their families than any other race when it comes to motherfucking child services. But then people want to act like these disparities don't exist. Black people are disproportionately incarcerated in jail and prisons, yet we only make up 13% of the population. It don't make no sense that there are just about as many motherfucking black people sitting in jails and prisons as there are white people, yet black people only make up 13% of the US population, and white people make up what? 60. A white man with a criminal record is more likely to have a criminal record. I'm supposed to just embrace these outsiders engaging into my motherfucking culture. Hell to the motherfucking now. A 14-year-old child was murdered in the 90s by a Korean woman, and the girl paid for her motherfucking orange juice and got shot dead because that Korean woman looked at her as a criminal. The color of my skin is my sin. I'm criminalized from the moment niggas look at me. I mean, check the comments on my content. Niggas is quick to want to paint the angry, mad black woman narrative. You know what I'm saying? Then they go seeking for stuff. Niggas can't call you ugly. They can't call you fat. So what do? They try to look at, okay, well, let's see if she's in a relationship. Oh, she's in a same-sex relationship. Now we just gonna drag her for being a dyke. I mean, y'all niggas is, the ignorance is crazy. The ignorance is crazy. And it's like, bro, you ain't hurt my, it's nothing but your insecurities, you know, deflecting on me. I would rather you keep them to yourself, but hey, I digress. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about how the fact that literally racial bias exists, not even in the police system, in the criminal justice system in general, in the courts, right? You are more likely to be arrested, charged, and convicted if you're black. And then you're more likely to be punished more harshly if you're black. But it doesn't just pertain to black skin. It also pertains to what? Afrocentric features. You are more likely to be charged, convicted, arrested, you know what I'm saying, and punished more harshly if you have Afrocentric facial features. Hair look like mine. The lighter your skin is, the more closely you resemble having European facial features and whatnot. Nigga, you more likely to get let off a lenient sentence. But then niggas want to say, embrace us in the culture, share the culture. Share what? We not sharing these disparities. We ain't sharing this racism. We ain't sharing this ostracization. I mean, come on. Come on. A black individual with mother freaking higher education is least likely to get a job over a white person with a high school diploma. Make that make sense. A black individual with a mother freaking master's degree is more likely to be looked over, passed over for some white mother freaker with a high school diploma. But share the culture. Share the culture, they say. Share the culture, they say. I'm at the gym. But share the culture, they say. Share what? We're not sharing these issues. We're not sharing these injustices. What the freak you want me to share my culture for, bro? So you could look cool, so you could feel cool. I mean, black people the coolest niggas on the planet. I don't know what to tell you. That's just, it is what it is. We're the coolest niggas on the planet. It comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. Just like how white people got white privilege, black people, we got some privilege too. Because as a black person, I can say whatever the freak I want about any race. And 9 times out of 10, nothing's going to come of it. Because what? Everyone has oppressed and hindered motherfucking black people. See, me personally, when I do out my community, you know, outreach and stuff, I'm very vocal when it comes to minorities in general. I fight for the poor white people just like I fight for the black people. But best and believe, once I see some foul junk and these white people talking sideways, I got to correct them. It's the same thing with Native Americans. I got to correct y'all. Because, yeah, disparities exist amongst your spaces, similar to black folks. But let's not forget that Native Americans oppress black people too. The largest Native American tribe to have enslaved black people as their property were Cherokee Indians. Whoa. I mean, it makes so much sense why so many black people out here claiming Cherokee Indians. It's the same thing with black people and white. Rape. 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 Because as a motherfucking slave, you cannot consent to sex. Rape. Rape. People need to wake the freak up. I'm not sharing diddly squat with nobody. I ain't sharing diddly squat with nobody because I don't share these injustices. When I went to court When I went to court, when I went to my trial just last week, guess who my jury was made up of? Predominantly white people. And then what was even more crazy was that my lawyer had even motioned to get a whole new jury brought in, because he's like, bro, and that is one of the grounds for mistrial. An all-white jury and a black defendant. Think about it. Those who hold jury duty, 9 times out of 10, they're white, and they don't even come from the city. And it's crazy, because this is like this nationally. It don't matter if you look at New York. It don't matter if you look at Florida. It doesn't matter if you look at Chicago, California, Nebraska. It does not matter what the freak you look like. What you look at, right? Every mother freaking state around this nation, their jury duty consists of white people from these places that's outside the city. Because if you think about it, you are no longer eligible to stand jury duty when you're convicted of a crime. Now, who are disproportionately convicted of crimes? Racial minorities, black folk. See, where I live, it's predominantly white. It's about almost 50% white. It's about almost 40% black. And then we got this ever-increasing Latino population. And we have, this ever-increasing immigrant population. So it's just all types of people with immigrants, right? But when I look at data, majority of the data is going to reflect black versus white. Why? Because that's the makeup of our motherfucking city. They ignore the ones that are the minorities, the smaller groups like the Asians. Very tiny here in Rochester, New York. Very tiny. You know what I'm saying? Compared to, like, I don't know, San Diego, Los Angeles or something, you know? But here's the thing. When I refer to data, I'm referring to what I know. So me, I live in a place that is predominantly white and predominantly black. There are some places like the state of Montana or the state of California where it's the opposite, right? It's predominantly white and it's predominantly Latino. Or when you look at states like Montana, it's predominantly white and then it's Native Americans. Who is disproportionately arrested and all this other stuff, incarcerated? It's always racial minorities. Every motherfucking state you look at. Every state you look at. There are almost about 330 million people that live in the United States of America. Out of 330 million people, 60% of them are white. White. That means over 100 million people that reside in the United States of America are what? White. Black people only make up 13% of the U.S. population. 13% of about 330 million is shy of 44 million people. About 40 million to 100 million. Yet, you can look at anybody's local jail. You will see more black people sitting up in that jail than you will white people, even though it's not motherfucking proportionate to what? The population numbers out here. It's crazy. But share your culture. Share what? We're not sharing these disproportionate rates in incarceration. We're not sharing that. Why I gotta share my culture? Why? Why? But it ain't no different than when you look at the creation of colonial America. When them crackers started flocking over here from Britain and all them white places, you know what I'm saying? They came here literally. You could look it up. You could look it up. You'll see them white people came here. They had no idea how to survive the lands here. So what they do, they play friendly with the Native Americans so they could learn their customs and use them for their benefit. And then once they got what they wanted out of them, look at them now. A nation that was full of Native Americans are now a nation with almost no Native Americans. The Native Americans in the United States are the smallest group of people here. Out of 330 million people that live in the United States, only 2 million of them are Native Americans. 2 million. This is the same nation that passed immigration laws federally, and then they summed up black people, motherfucking indentured slaves and freed slaves and slaves. They tied all them in on the same motherfucking thing. This is why I tell motherfucking niggas all the time, Negroes all the motherfucking time. I know that these non-black people get on your nerves. They get on my nerves too. I be ready to bust these Korean folks, bust these, these Asian folks, bust these Latino folks, bust these motherfucking Native Americans. I'm ready to bust these niggas too because they treat us poorly. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even go. I remember growing up in the 90s because it done flipped where early in the 90s, early 2000s, you know what I'm saying? Well, I wasn't walking around in the early 90s. I was born 92. But mid to late, 90s and early 2000s, I go into the hair store, to get some hair grease for my, for my parents or whatever. And most of these stores, convenience stores too, like corner stores, they were predominantly owned and ran by Asians. And these niggas will follow us around the store. Oh my mother freaking goodness. That junk used to be so annoying. It still is. It still is, Now it's been a shift where you don't see too many Asian corner store owners or Asian hair store owners. They're all pretty much Middle Eastern now here in here in Rochester. Pretty much Middle Eastern. But Yemen, Muslim, and Arab, right? But these niggas will follow you around. The same thing with the Arab people. And the crazy part about it is that these niggas, they come out of Africa. These Middle Eastern people, most of them come out of Africa. But colorism is still an issue. See, because it don't matter nothing about your race, colorism is still an issue, right? It's prevalent amongst the Latinos. My wife is Mexican. Majority of her family is on the pale end. They have this one relative that they literally call Blackfoot because she's brown. She's the darkest one of them. I even know of and heard of Latino families that literally practice incest so they can keep their Spanish features, the pale skin, the colored eyes, the blondish hair. For some reason, blackness is just criminalized, dark skin criminalized. And it's crazy because now you see niggas out here, they want everything that we black people got, we dark skinned niggas got. You got niggas out here tanning to look like me. You know how many times white people tell me they wish they had my skin tone? I even heard this one lady tell this other lady that she was gonna go get tanned to my skin tone. You got white girls out here putting butt fat in their lips so they could look like they got full lips. What happened to the 90s? Where big lips and all this stuff was bad. Sarah Bartman. Look her up, Sarah Bartman. Her body is a black woman. She was on display in a museum for hundreds of years because she had a rotund booty. A black woman with big breasts, a big butt, full lips, and they had this woman on display showing off her body to the white people, to these Europeans, from life, even post-death. I think it wasn't until like 1974 when Nelson Mandela had her remains removed out of the motherfucking museum. This woman was on display for over 100 years. But share my culture. I don't know of any white people who were on display for their body parts. And then once they died, they were still on display in a museum. I don't know any. Do you? I don't know any. But share my culture? I think not. I don't share the rest of this garbage with y'all. Y'all don't want to share the rest of this mess. Why you want my culture? And that junk is weird when niggas, they want your culture. They want your motherfucking culture, but they can do without you. They can do without you. The hate of black folks is so real. Shit. I was on a live yesterday. And it's one of y'all favorite YouTubers. I was on a live yesterday. And this nigga straight up displays self-hate. He burnt black. You know what? I done made it this far with the description. I might as well go all the way, right? Debo! Do-rag Debo. This nigga, it really put things into perspective for me. It really put things into perspective for me why he's so cool with Chris White and everything. He goes and say, randomly, he starts talking about how he got light-skinned kids. And he started bigging up about how he got light-skinned kids. And immediately my brain was like, oh, he one of them self-hating black folks, them niggas that they dark-skinned, they hate themselves, they go out here sleeping with, lighter-skinned people, getting with lighter-skinned people, not because they love the person, but because they hate themselves. And they want to make these light-skinned babies because they hate themselves. So he starts talking about how he got 15 kids and they all light-skinned. And he just keeps dragging out them being light-skinned. So then, after he drags out about them being light-skinned, he goes and say, yep, I don't deal with niggas. And then he goes and say, well, you could post that out there too. Yep, y'all could post it. And I think I am going to post it. Because at first, I wasn't even going to post it because the conversation that they were talking, I thought it was pretty boring. In a sense. Like, I was just there because Jaffe was there. You know what I'm saying? And he's cool. You know what I'm saying? When I went to Brooklyn, he was nice. He interacted with me and whatnot. And we got to chop it up a little bit. I ain't trying to start, cause no strife with people. And I try not to be those people that only love people and rock with people who love and rock with them. Because like the Bible says, even the world does that. Be like Jesus. Because Jesus died and gave up his own life for people who spoke terribly about him and currently does. You know what I'm saying? So I try to be like Jesus. Love those who hate me. Sometimes it gets hard, It gets hard and I be ready to throw hands. Especially because I'm with that. But I'm trying to be like Jesus, I'm trying to make it into heaven. Now I like all of us to get up in there too. But this nigga was dragging out how he had 15 kids and they all light skinned. Then he goes and say, I don't deal with niggas. In fact, I don't like niggas. And then he goes and talk about how, I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'm a paraphrase. He went and said something along the lines of like, they give you all this attitude. He basically started painting the negative black woman. So then it became, I became aware, okay, he has an issue with black women. Because now he's talking about how he don't deal with he don't deal with niggas because he said they're motherfucking argumentative and they don't this, that, and the third. Basically along the lines of like, fold into the dude. And so it put me into perspective. It put me into perspective because then I realized, because I know some niggas that's like that they don't like white girls, they don't like Asian girls, they don't like Latina girls. They go after these women to control them because they feel that they cannot control the black women that they've dated. But a lot of that stuff is some internal, it's innate issues. Them issues deep down inside. Because why do you have to control somebody? Why do you got to control somebody? So he was talking about getting with these these pale individuals, you know what I'm saying? And avoiding niggas because basically black females is just, they're too much. They talk too much. They don't submit, all this weirdo stuff. And I'm just like, wow. Well, I know how the nigga feel about me, and that's crazy, because the nigga darker than me. But hate niggas. I'm like, bro. But to be fair, this is what womanizers look like. This is what womanizers look like. This is what they look like. They usually have mama daddy issues. You know what I'm saying? Then it turns into some self-hate issues. And then it goes from self-hate to now they're deflecting their internal issues and problems onto other motherfucking people. And I was just like, wow. Since I spoke on it, I'm going to post it because I thought that joke was weird. And at first, I had thought about not posting it because me personally, I don't care for giving a platform to people, especially people who have shown to me that they don't give a damn about me. Because he's one of those people who he hopped the bandwagon of the Chris White. So it's another thing. I was on his live yesterday, and mind you, there was like only 8 people on there. It's the niggas that's in the lives, and it was like 3 to 4 of them, and then it's the rest of us. It's me and like 3 other people. And so not many people were commenting anyways, but I noticed when I comment, niggas act like they ain't see the comments. So I'm like, I know these niggas see the comments because there's literally only like 7 or 8 of us in here, right? But I became aware the nigga was ignoring my comments when he made this comment. And I'm gonna post it because that junk, it made me feel some type of way, especially when he said that whole black thing. I was like, bro, okay, this nigga self-hating this, and he deflected it on this way. But I was commenting, I had asked him, I said, why weren't you there? Referring to the Boilers Life West Coast game versus Squad X, right? And he goes and say, what he said? Talking about you asked too many questions. I'm not giving you no, basically I'm not giving you no information for you to report on your channel. And I'm just like, but then not too long before that, you kept saying like, oh, I know they recording these lives. I know they recording these lives. Then he started to shout out the people that he doesn't mind recording the lives. He made mention to Logo Lock, another nigga who I had an issue with, this white Mexican dude who loves to throw out the nigga word, but he's white and Mexican. And mind you, he's raised white because he's raised in a single parent household by a white woman. I am more than confident. By his white mama. He was raised by his single white mama. But anyways, he gave he kept giving, shout outs to 1B1 Hoops and Logo Lock. And then even though these niggas wasn't even in his live, he kept referring to like screen recorders. So to me, it was pretty obvious. Like, okay, niggas talking about me, but don't got the testicles to put it out there. So I just kept watching, to see what happened. And he kept talking. So when I first hopped in his live, I had asked him, I was like, yo, because I saw Kenny Dobbs that went to New York City. So I'm like, did y'all play a game with Kenny Dobbs? Only time he really responded to my question was that moment when he was like, no, he ducking. And then he just pressed over. But he said it all choppy, like he didn't really want to answer my question anyway. So I'm like, nigga, you don't even know me. How you got an issue with me? But it's because niggas be out here just bandwagoning. I mean, if he got an issue with me, it's because of his association with Chris White. And the crazy part about it is that this nigga don't know me either. How you got hundreds of thousands of followers pressed by little old me? I'm a nobody. Me personally, I could stop YouTube right now and still be successful in my life. Majority of the niggas that got issues with me, this is their livelihood. This is their livelihood. Without this, they got nothing. They got nothing. They're forced to work a regular job. Ain't got nothing. Because a lot of these dudes, and it's no shame against them, you know what I'm saying? Because I would have been there too. But a lot of these niggas ain't got no education, you know what I'm saying? Even the niggas that went to college to play college ball ain't got no education, because when it comes to sports and athletes, and I've seen it with my own eyes in my own school, these niggas will pass them along. I had some straight up duds in my classes. And it's like, bro, you should have never even graduated high school and got a diploma. You don't know anything. You didn't learn anything. Like, teachers literally was just putting bare minimum passing grades on their stuff so they can be squared away to play sports because they were star athletes, right? And so a lot of these, they don't have no degree. They ain't got nothing to fall back on. They come from impoverished backgrounds, right? And a lot of these niggas come with criminal history. So that's a motherfucking marker that's eliminating them, especially, like I mentioned earlier, as a black individual with a criminal record, you are less likely to be hired for a job in comparison to a white person with no criminal record. So it makes sense why some of these people, they take this YouTube stuff to heart, because it's literally their livelihood. It's what pay their bills.
pay my bills with YouTube. I don't. You could pretty much see I don't pay my bills with YouTube. People constantly tell me you should set up a Patreon, you should set up this. I'm not about to be out here panhandling trying to get paid off of people. You know what I'm saying? If you feel the need to want to donate something to me, I'm pretty sure you ain't got no problem with reaching out to me and saying, hey, what's your Cash App, or what's your Venmo, or what's your motherfucking PayPal? I would like to send you something. I'm not that panhandling type. Just not. I'm not the type that be asking people for money. You know what I'm saying? The most you see anything referencing me saying money is these niggas that I be entertaining and I should not have entertained. Because when I feel like I done wasted my good old precious time with an ignorant nigga that is hella stubborn and arrogant, right? I feel like they should pay me. Because you just used up valuable time that I could have been entertaining somebody with some motherfucking sense. But other than that, I don't care nothing about it. Me, like I said, I use my platforms as a way to educate people. You know what I'm saying? Because I use my interests, my hobbies. I do so much. I hunt. I own firearms. You know what I'm saying? I go out here shooting at ranges. I'm actually in the process with my wife planning to buy we in the works of buying our own land and opening up our own gun range. Like, you know what I'm saying? On top of the fact that I'm still in school, I took a year off after, getting my master's degree. And I hate saying this. Because I feel like even if I didn't have nothing, I didn't achieve nothing, I shouldn't have to put that junk out there just for people to view me as somebody. I feel like accolades and accomplishments don't make you somebody. What makes you somebody is motherfucking you. Because at the end of the day, God can use anybody. He can use a homeless person. He can use a child. He can use an animal. And we can't take none of this stuff with us anyways. However, I'm just saying this to explain to you, like, for the most part, I'm slightly too busy to even be on, social media is like that because I have so much going for myself. I'm going back to school to get my JD, my Juris Doctorate, and my PhD, dual degree program, all at the same time. Because I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. But at the same time, I want my PhD because that Dr. Tierra E. Grayson just has a nice ring to it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm almost there. I got a bachelor's degree. Why not? Why not? But I'm busy doing my own stuff, right? And I'm all for interacting with people. But like I said, I use my platform as a way to educate people. I use my hobbies, the things that I'm interested in. So I love sports. I love growing plants. Like, I started my own homestead, my own business, literally. And it's like farming, but it's homestead. You know what I'm saying? Got me a chicken coop. Some mother freaking chickens on the way, Got my indoor and outdoor garden, mother freaking, on top of the fact that I got into customizing my own shoes. I made my own clothes. I got into, making my own clothes. I got so much content. I just don't post it because I'm not a heavy content poster. I'm just not. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not programmed to think like I gotta post so I can get a following and da 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 da. Like, I post for the hell of it. You know what I'm saying? For the heck of it. But I use my hobbies and the things that I have that I'm connected to in life, and I use those to reach people, right? I play any sport, literally any. I do taekwondo, boxing, motherfucking any and everything. I can do any and everything. Yet, when I get in these spaces, I talk to the people about the stuff that I've learned over the years. Whether it's through my experiences, you know what I'm saying, or my education. That is me. Like, if I had to put a label on myself, I feel like it would be educator. And I've even been told this, that I have this like teacher, thing about me. And I've had people tell me that I should utilize my master's degree and become some type of teacher, maybe a professor. I don't know about all that. Maybe when I get old. But that's me. I'm more about educating. But at the same time, I do not hesitate to call a spade for what it is. If I'm effed up, if I'm jacked up and you see it, let me know. Let me know. There's no need for me to be motherfucking maneuvering life all jacked up with all these people out here that could tell me like, hey sis, you jacked up. You gotta, maybe you should fix this. Have you ever considered addressing this issue? And that's how I feel like I do. Every now and then, my words could be a little, it could cut, boy. It could cut. And some people, they take it to heart. But know that everything I do is out of love. Even the correction of people, you know what I'm saying? I do think some stuff is funny. Ain't even gonna hold you. I think some stuff is funny. Some people, they get under my skin to the point where I could just squeeze their motherfucking heads. Just squeeze their heads. But at the same time, I love people. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm anti-violence in the sense I don't feel like you should be out here killing people. You really got beef like that? Put on the gloves. Let's duke it out. Spar. That's where I'm at. We got issues. Let's spar. Loser and winner. You just go about your business at the end. That's my motto. But people don't know how to. They don't know how to deal with legit. I don't want to say legit, but the people don't know how to deal with the truth, right? A lot of the people that call themselves not liking me, or the people that talk smiggity smack on my stuff, these are niggas that do this because they don't like something that I said, and it's because 9 times out of 10 it was true, right? Like Chris White scamming people. He was scamming people, and he still scam people. Chris White being a culture appropriator. He is a culture appropriator. So is Greg Helt. So is motherfucking Tommy Handles. So is Kenny Chow. And every other motherfucking nigga out there. Oh, Kenny Dobbs. Culture appropriator. Culture appropriator. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of them out here. Especially in the YouTube community. Because street ball is not everyone's culture. And I love to break it to y'all, but it's not everybody's culture, right? In the 80s and the 90s, you have everybody and their mama playing street ball outside. And then y'all motherfucking idea of street ball is drastically different than the next person. Because y'all think the street ball is linking up at some motherfucking park and playing. Like, street ball for me is when you motherfucking makeshifting basketball hoops and you out here playing your hardest against your homies or your family. That to me is street ball. That it's not structured and organized like the NBA, like the league, like none of those weirdo things, right? And then y'all eliminate people out of these spaces, right? You got Ballers Life. These niggas literally be picking up players so they can exploit them, use them for their abilities, their little fame. And then if they can't control them the way that they want to, they toss them to the side. And what gets me is that these people, I don't know. It's like y'all got Stockholm Syndrome, IB Court. Because you make a video about it, about them doing you shady, and then you still kind of suck out to the niggas. I mean, if y'all right at your wrongs, that's one thing. But I don't know. Some of y'all weird. Let me see what time it is. Okay. But that's what I'm saying, is that a lot of my issues have come from the fact that people don't like to hear the truth. Why not link up with other hoopers? If you can't claim street ball and not interact with street ball hoopers. People act like the colorism and racism doesn't exist. It even exists in the YouTube community, because look at Hezzy. Hezzy G was labeled the motherfucking villain. Why? Nigga just be showing up and slaying niggas on offense. His defense is garbage. But Hezzy G be slaying niggas on offense, and he gets labeled the villain. And would you believe it? I'm telling you, I got my analysis coming. But Hezzy, he was supposedly a part of Baller's life at one point. Then he went out on his own, and then all of a sudden he's the villain. Why is he the villain? Because he was one of the only ones in the popular, the mainstream YouTube basketball community, and he's dark skinned. I would have thought that Chris White would have been labeled the villain because nobody likes him. You got a lot of people who front like they like him so they can use him for views and stuff, because at the end of the day, drama sells. Messiness sells. Blood sells. Sex sells. The dude's vulgar. He's dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, nigga be digging in his nose and mouth, smelling and eating stuff, digging in his butt. Just dirty. Right? Why wasn't he labeled the villain? A lot of people seem to be against him because he white, but Hezzy G is the villain. I don't even think Hezzy G is villainous. Like, nothing about him is villainous. The only thing, like I said, he just be slaying niggas on offense. Defense, nigga could definitely use Jesus on that, because he needs some help on that defensive end. But his offense is impeccable. But he's labeled the villain. Me personally, I think it's because he dark skinned. Because, I mean, if you look at it, how many black people in the YouTube basketball space that's popping? Chris Staples is a pro dunker, and yet he receives millions of views on his shorts. But in reality, dude's lame. He's boring. Nobody watches his content. And he's not much boring than the next person. Me personally, I think that what's that white dude name that everybody talking about he put on for street ball, the professor or something? I think that nigga is boring. But somehow, some way, this nigga get a lot of props. You know what I'm saying? Bone collector, motherfucking street ball, historian. And the most he gets is well, you paved the way for us. That's it. They not put him on mainstream. None of that. Look at these black hoopers. None of them mainstream. Even when you zoom in on Baller's Life have a all black team, the Midwest squad, and they're doing the worst of them all. Baller's Life requires the Midwest squad to motherfucking play some losers, that lost to the West Coast squad just so they could play up against the West Coast squad, which is retarded. The Hooligans didn't have to do all that. Zone 6 ain't had to do all that. Zone 6, I mean, come on. Y'all played children. Then y'all played motherfucking K Showtime's team. I forget what the freak they call themselves. Here's another one. Even though he got some type of attachment to Drake, he's still struggling to stay in the limelight. And they played motherfucking the East Coast squad. Predominantly children. Except for Duke. And I think Austin. Which, I got some content on that Austin Mills too. That Baller's Life, I'm telling you, I was waiting for something to happen with Baller's Life so I can expose these niggas for being the exploiters that they are. But just right along with the rest of them, because they all be out here exploiting people. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. Even the niggas that y'all think is your friend, is the cool niggas. Frigga. That nigga is the most mischievous, devious nigga out here. And the worst part about it is that the nigga sneaky. He the type, I feel like he'll sleep with your sister behind your back and then in your face like, bro, we just cool, all good vibes. That nigga sneaky. I mean, look what he did to Chris White. He made sure 2 people was on his team and added the Staples, even though Staples is booty cheeks. Added Staples to his team just to get under Chris White's skin. These niggas are devious. Then you got niggas like Kenny Chow, who's so sensitive. People be pissing him off, and I feel like for good reason. But this nigga be sending subliminals. Or I ain't never know a nigga who talks so much about what's bothering him, but ain't saying nothing. And he always He'll start it out by saying what his issue is, then I don't know. I don't know. And then the conversation to divert because he doesn't have the balls to say who his issue is with unless it's somebody that everybody else don't like Chris Staples. That was the only name that he put out there. Some Chris Staples. These niggas is lame. You know what I'm saying? And I watch majority of these niggas' content, but they're lame. Marcellus Howard, I watch him too. Gentrified nigga. All these gentrified hoopers. And that's another thing that gets me with this YouTube basketball community. Why it seem like all the niggas that makes mainstream are some gentrified niggas? The black people that are in mainstream, they're the Marcellus Howards. What the freak is Sacramento? There ain't no hood in no Sacramento. The only thing I could think of in Sacramento is that's where they be saying like all the gay people be moving. They have a large gay population that lives there. Then they got all these gentrified niggas. Then they allow Frigga up in the space. Why? Because Frigga he's like what they call him? He's like a surprise, you know, Pandora's box. You have no idea what he is. Is he white? Is he black? He's passing. So we'll take him because he's black looking enough so black people don't, get all crazy. But he's white looking enough so white people don't get all crazy. So we'll take him. Gentrified niggas, I'm telling you. And this nigga, he's from Hickville out in motherfucking Ohio. The middle of nowhere. Talking about some street ball this, street ball that. And the thing is that when you watch these people old content, right? And now I'm not saying that you can't move around and maneuver and whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But when you watch these niggas old content, I'm telling you, you'll see. Especially Frigga. Ain't nothing street ball about him. Ain't nothing street ball. All he did was college. High school and college. And then out of nowhere, he started, doing, I think it was like these little runs. And then he started mixing up with Ball His Life. I'm going to go into detail with my analysis because I'm telling you, I pulled this junk. I pulled it all out. All the names that I know, I was motherfucking sucking into this junk. Doing my analysis. Because it's full of these gentrified niggas. It's the niggas that white people and corporations, they're safe with having. They don't want nobody like me out there. Why? Because a person like me gonna tell you about yourself. They'll accept cash. Why? Because at the end of the day, cash ain't nothing but a motherfucker. That nigga fold. He fold under white pressure. He folds for white pressure. They what we call sellouts. Sellouts. The only dark people they'll take is the ones that they'll control. If they can't control you, they don't want nothing to do with you unless you a gentrified nigga. You gotta be one that they can control. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go into better detail in this. In my analysis, it's gonna come out. I don't know when it's coming out. I'm gonna try to get it out. I got a hair appointment on Thursday. It's not happening today. And it's more than likely not happening tomorrow. So it'll probably be close to the weekend, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm getting that analysis out because people, I don't know. I feel like y'all have to see it. Some of y'all, you're going to be in denial and you're going to be like, no, you're just a hater. No, bro. Y'all need to kill that noise. Stop calling people haters just because their opinion, their perspective varies from yours. I'm not a hater just because I don't ride the waves that you ride. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on the bandwagon that you're on. I'm not a hater. Okay. And it'd be so nice when people get rid of that mentality when wanting to deem everybody a hater because they have a different perspective. The jug is getting old, man. It's getting old. I'm about to head to the gym. But I had to come and talk to y'all because it's a lot going on. And my goal is to actually break this down into the videos. I still got other videos that I got several parts that I still have to include, post those other parts. It's so much. Especially when this ain't your livelihood. So much. So much. But I'm gonna get to it and I'm gonna post it because I want y'all to really understand. And the people who's gonna be ignorant and arrogant and just not understand, not see it, not look at it through an objective standpoint, it's okay. There's nothing I can do with you. You pig-headed. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I know some people be out here like, I ain't gotta explain myself to nobody. I don't. I ain't gotta explain myself to nobody. However, me personally, I don't like confusion. And if I have to take that extra step and break it down so you can see where I'm coming from, then I'll do so. Because a lot of people's misconceptions and everything when it comes to people, it has to do with the fact that you don't know them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas don't know me. You don't know me from a can of paint. Just like I don't know y'all from a can of paint. I just go off of what the freak I see. I just go off of what the freak I see. And there's way too much accumulated data that is showing a consensus that this motherfucking basketball community as a whole is just, it's raggedy. And they, as a whole, exploit people. They especially exploit racial minorities, but predominantly poor people. And that's just a reflection of society, right? When you look at our athletes, every single athlete, whether football, basketball, don't have you, them niggas come from poverty. I always said it. The best masseuse is a person that came from struggle. Niggas gonna put they all in it to make that junk motherfucking successful when they ain't dependent on nepotism, when they're not dependent on motherfucking having resources provided, you know, having access to resources. When you used to not have nothing and you struggle to get everything, nigga, you I'm telling you, you the best thing for people to have. The same thing with the military. When I joined the military, them niggas ain't go to no motherfucking school in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying, where parents paying boohoo money for their children to acquire a private school education. These niggas is coming to public schools, public systems that are in impoverished neighborhoods. Yes, them niggas okie doked me, but the thing is that they okey-doked me in the sense of lying and saying like, oh, it's not as bad as it seems. It's as bad as it seems. Sometimes it's worse. However, I feel it was all for it because my whole purpose of joining the Marine Corps, it was not for no motherfucking patriotic reasons. I don't give a damn about fighting no white man's war. None of that nonsense. I joined so the Marine Corps, so the government can pay for my education. I wanted to go to college and my parents couldn't afford it. It's just what it is. So I joined the Marine Corps. And by the grace of God, I got up to a master's degree for free. For free. All up to a master's degree for free. So it worked out in that regard. But the raggediness that we see out in these communities, especially the YouTube basketball community, it's a reflection of society. Niggas out here exploiting people, exploiting poor people, exploiting racial minorities. Like I was saying, and I'm going to end it here with Boiler's Life. Look at that Midwest squad. That Midwest squad is all black. Yes, they're the worst off group. The best group is motherfucking West Coast squad. That group is well taken care of and the whole shebang. And it's crazy because I really full-heartedly believe that the Midwest squad is a lot better than the West Coast squad. The only difference is that the West Coast squad has more semi-pros on their team. But that's not street ball. But we knew this because Ballers Life, that's all they did. Went around looking for regular non-semi-pros so they can use them and exploit them, you know what I'm saying, to get their attachment into the street ball community. Now they're out there, toss it to the side, start bringing in all the niggas with the accolades. Hey, you played in the league. Hey, you played overseas. Hey, you played in the NBA. Come on. NBA failures. Let's go. I'll take you. You played in the NBA but got motherfucking injured. Come on. NBA failures. I'll take you. That's Baller's Life. And they've been doing that from the get. One thing I can say, they've been pretty consistent with their raggediness. So there's that. But these systems are raggedy because it's a reflection of society. When you look out here in society, you'll start to see why it's so raggedy. That's why, in a sense, the comments and the things that are said to me, the negative things, it bothers me in a sense like, oh, nigga, you don't know me. Where the freak is that coming from? Okay, whatever. And then I get over it. But I get over it because of the fact that it's just like, this is a reflection of society. I can't expect y'all to accept me in an area that is predominantly male. Like, I literally have people say like, why do you feel the need to say anything about the YouTube basketball community? They don't know you. You're not a part of it. You're not a hooper. Nigga don't know me from Gator Paint. And it's just like, why do you feel that way about me? Is it because you're misogynistic? You know what I'm saying? I'm a female, double standards. Because dudes be out here doing the same things that I'm doing, saying the same things that I say, but I'm the only one that don't belong. It's because I have a set of ovaries instead of a pair of testes. People are weird, y'all. But be on the look. I got some other freaking content that's coming out. It's all types of content. I got some of my shoe customs coming out. I got some archery, some shooting range, some other freaking this Boyle's life analysis. Shit, it's so much. But I'm out of here. I gotta go to the gym. I done sat here for an hour talking to y'all. I love it though. I love it because I'm all about spreading knowledge. But peace.